What's going on, YouTube? Long week, short week? We'll check in with everybody, see how we're doing, see how the morale of the men is, and women, or the few, the one, two that might check in. But I hope everybody has survived their ordeal this week. They've enjoyed the rope-a-dope that everybody else is having to go through with there's a list, there's not a list. We're going to get subpoenas for the transcripts for, like, there was such not evidence they had a grand jury actually look at the non-evidence. But see Nickel stacking for more of that information because he's been all over it. It's been overwhelming. I've been like, Nickel, you got to talk about something else, man. Like, that's a little too much Trumpism going on around here. I guess talk about something else. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, hope everybody's been getting through the grind this week. Got somebody checking in here. Let's see. Make sure we get the chat in. Hey, there's Nickel. Look at that. Nickel, just you speak his name and he appears. And you still, Nickel, you still don't act. Some of your recorded videos don't even have comments on them. Like, you can't do comments on some of your videos that even are up for posterity. Like, you got to activate your comments, man. Like, how can you discuss when there's no discussion to be had? Yeah, Nickel, you just gotta let's get some more nickel and copper videos or something. The Trump stuff is just done. He's toast. He is who we thought he was. He is exactly what we thought he was. He is a controlled, in the pockets of the grand poobahs that run the world that nobody knows who they are. You know what I'm saying? Because even as up in the higher echelon as he is, he's still a controlled asset, as he has been blackmailed like everybody else, right? What's up, Vegas Stacker? Hopefully you're out of the heat, because I know it gets hot down there. It's been nice up here most of the week. It was hot. Was it last weekend? It was like super hot. We got to 100. Last weekend, maybe Monday, it got to 100. And we've been nice around 90 the last couple of days. So that's summer weather. So it's normal deal. They all answer to someone. We will never know, right? Yeah, we were talking about that. It's like, if you had to do the culling, who would you go after? We talked about that, and it's like, yeah, the people that are really in control, you have no idea where to find them. You can't reach out and touch them, because they're that up there, So prepare accordingly, bunker in accordingly. The biggest thing is make sure their minions start disobeying. That's the only real opportunity you have, is that their minions would disobey. If somebody asks for forgiveness for what they've done in the past, forgive them. 100 in the shade down there. You made a copper vid, did you, Nickel? Okay. I mean, it's hard to sort through all those Trump videos and find the one copper video, but maybe you just start balancing out those numbers. The copper stuff will rise to the top. We'll get right on that. They don't follow the news, right? I mean, it's not a matter of following; it's just staying aware. You know what I'm saying? Because the people around you that are reacting and overreacting and having attitudes, and they get depressed over it, or the people you work with and stuff, like, you got to know why they are the way they are. That's kind of the way I look at it. Like, I'm just staying in this level of information flow, just so I know what people around me are thinking, and so I can respond accordingly. Like, hey, I told you Trump was a New York Democrat. Been saying that for 10 years, or 10. It's been 10 years. He's a New York Democrat. Why would you vote for him? He badmouthed Rand Paul right there on stage. Like, why would you vote for this guy? It don't make no sense. As much faith and hope as we could put into it that maybe something good might come of it, it's not looking so good, fam. I guess there's a deadline he's put on Russia to end the Ukraine war. So he's putting in Russia's court. It's like, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. That's not going to go well. So much for that peace in the first 30 days, or whatever. It's just terrible. But stuff's growing. I've got a sauerkraut video. I'll make a sauerkraut short because I haven't, I just made it. So it's easy. That's the good thing about sauerkraut. I'm gonna have to make a lot more cabbage if this comes out well, because I had those 2 heads of cabbage, and they don't add up to a whole lot when you actually get it all cut up and you get it mashed in there. It's like, that's it. And now I just got to wait for it to steep. So in about 3-4 weeks, we'll see what our sauerkraut looks like, and we'll have it on some bratwurst or something, or whatever. One of the worsts. We'll get it on there. We'll see how it is. What's up, C103? How is things out your way? I like that horse riding video, C103. That's always a good video, a good visit when you got people riding up to your house on a horse. Well, Nickel, you know what? I'm just kind of surprised that Russia hasn't already ended what their main objective was. It's like they started off all hard and fast, and it's like they're like, whoa, 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 this, we didn't want to do all this, and they backed out. Like, I mean, they had Kiev, they were going to put Kiev on lock, right, in the first week. They were at the airport, they just didn't follow through. And it's suspect, because it's like, how in this modern age could they have not, you know, and everybody says, well, the Russians this, the Russians think this way. It's like, come on, man, come on. Most ROTC students could have executed that after that first week and successfully taken half the country once they got all that other success exploited. But they weren't ready to exploit success, apparently. But anyway, it looks like it's going to be a stalemate, and if anything, Russia just gets the 2 states that they wanted. Vegas stacker stays away from people at all costs. Okay, well, I mean, avoiding people is always an option. You need to move out of Vegas if you want to avoid people, though, because there's way too many people in Vegas, even for my taste. Because I'm more of a anti-people person, I think, than you are. Nickel's got the like, comment, subscribe, right? All that good stuff. Locking in on that like. Yeah, pretty simple, Vegas stacker, exactly. And there's options, different ways to make it. I'm looking at, so if this experiment goes okay, I'm looking at garlic, putting a little garlic in there and seeing how that works out. But we'll see. There's other variations on the sauerkraut recipes out there. There's different, I mean, some people put like hot peppers or some sort of pepper flavoring into it that they like. I'm not big on that. I could do some garlic, though. I could do some garlic. Turnips, right? Yeah, turnips are good. Turnip greens, I mean, we got a pretty good, I just replanted some turnips. I got my first planting of turnips that I've pulled to feed to the pigs. And I got some of that first planting that are still growing to bigger size. So we'll have some turnips here. Cut them up just like you would anything else raw. Yeah. You wanted to move out of that town, but I'm in stuck. Oh, and your job, if it's job dependent, I get it. Like you kind of bracketed yourself. I don't know how long you've been watching the channel, Vegas Stacker, but well, I know it's not been that long. It's only been a few months since I followed you guys. But Tactical Tony 702, 10 years ago, was in your same boat. And I would just say, if you just follow, you know, do everything you can, look at every option and do every opportunity. And he moved out of Vegas right at January 2020. He was out the door right as everything was getting ready to implode. And he moved to Arkansas, and now he's in Arkansas. He still calls his channel Tactical Tony 702, but he's Arkansas Tony now. But he definitely finally got he had a couple of different things going on in Utah, and that all fell through. And he was looking at rural Nevada, and that fell through. And he's just like, you know, wrapped it up and moved to Arkansas there, and got it done. It's just a matter of finding out where there's a will, there's a way. Where there is a will, there's a way, and that's my number one example to everybody, anybody out there that says I live in a city I can't get out. Like, just do what Tactical Tony did. Just put your nose to the grindstone, make a bunch of sacrifices, because it's worth it in the end. And he talks about it on his channel. So you'd have to go talk to him, and you can follow some of his story on some of his videos. But he does chats all the time, and you can ask him questions or whatever. But it's all about this sacrifice, really. What's up, First Shot? How you doing? Tony is great. He did a lot of great things, that's for sure. Nickel was around during the Rat Pack, apparently. Who knew? Trying to a couple side hustles. There you go. Yep. Yeah, side hustles help tremendously, right? Um, Again, finding whatever way, whatever it takes. You're gonna have to. Chances are you're gonna have to move out of your primary, mode of work, or whatever. Um, just depending, what your skill set is. The Gillette. No, I don't have a sponsor at all, Nickel. Do you want to sponsor me, Nickel? You can sponsor me with a nickel on every chat we do. How about that? Yeah, it's a strange situation for a lot of people. Where you been, Nickel? That's been like months ago. You just don't pay attention. I get it. You don't pay attention. Perimeter security out there making noise. Um, but yeah, the week of the Trumpisms, and the question is, what's all this hubbub about um, with the whole list and everything? What's that all about? It's like it's a big distraction. They're distracting you from the economy. So the big thing, I guess, just passed yesterday, last night, dark of the night, as usual, and signed today. And Trump's bragging about it, and he had a big signing ceremony with all the top hubbub people on the for the digital assets. Is they signed the bill for central not. It doesn't allow central bank CBDCs, but it does allow tokens, stable coins from private banks. So basically, it's the corporate oligarchy getting their way to be able to control your money. And Dad on YouTube talked about it. How everybody will have their own stable coin, but are they interactable? Like, will Bank of America talk to J.P. Morgan and everything? It's like, now you're really hitting at the hard questions, right? Are all these banks will be able to work together for these stable coins? It's like the goal of the Federal Reserve is to be the last man standing. So everything's going to conglomerate and come together at some point, and all those coins will become interchangeable at some level at some time in the future, unbeknownst to us. And that's how the central grid control of that central money is going to happen. That's my vision of what I've read so far. Dad on YouTube trying to talk to me, a Luddite, explaining to what he knows about crypto and stablecoin. It's like, yeah, the banks are going to be able to slowly meld together under the banner of the Federal Reserve, and one bank to rule them all and own everything, and everything's going to have a coin assigned, every asset, every fraction of your work. And stable coins expire, they're controllable, they're deletable, all the things that your worst fears about what somebody else can do with your labor, because money is ultimately a representation of your time and labor, and they're going to use that to manipulate and control everything. Interest rates, instant stimulus, instant deflation, whatever they want, so yeah, really watch that. So that was the big signing ceremony today that kind of didn't go anywhere unless you were really in the crypto world, stable coin, economic world. And you got the ones that are like, oh, this is great, and you got the other people who are like, oh, this is really, really, really bad. And it's really, really bad if you're worried about freedom, in your host's humble opinion. Steve is checked in. What is up, Corsair trainers? Checking in. If you missed Steve's regular scheduled Friday morning video, came out today, talking about disposal of your waste products in the event the balloon goes up or any type of bad event. And it's a worthwhile watch. If you haven't thought about it, you should be thinking about it. When you have a little bit of place to bury lots of stuff, it makes it a little bit easier. But yeah, it's a concern. You can only compost and dispose of so much material after a while. One thing for places like out here in the boonies is, your septic tank has to get pumped ever so often, right? So you can go years off our septic tank, right? before it needs to be pumped out. Like, so what do we do at that point when the septic's full and you got to get it out or go to alternate methods? Because it'd be nice to still be able to use a septic, but you're going to have to pump that out or shovel it out, bucket, haul it, method it out, something like that. Things to think about out there. Good video, Steve, as usual. Yeah, gold and silver is much more preferable, right? Something that you hold that nobody can get unless they want to come fight you for it, right? That's the way to go. Third-party risk is real. And nickel does not do cryptos, right? I don't think most people don't want to. I think there was some surveys done, and most people do not want a central bank digital currency, but they're going to find a way to maneuver themselves around. And this bill is the way it's been explained by several people is just the first workaround, in that it says no CBDC, but all these private bank tokens. Hey, the banks give you what they want, and then it becomes a point to where the government's, because you got to remember, your government banks with these people, see your government travel charge card that you may or may not have or know about, the military, all the DOD, all these credit cards they use are through a private bank. It's usually Bank of America. It seems like 90% of the time, maybe Wells Fargo, whoever. Oh, guess what? That's all going to be stable coin driven. All the government funds that go through banks all suddenly become stable coins. Like, oh, it's like a self-propagating nightmare I can see at some point. So be aware. It's coming, and anything, I don't know, all you can do is try to be able to feed and support yourself as best you can, and hopefully you don't have to rely on them too much to survive, and just use them when you absolutely have to do certain things. Because, you know, at one point in the future, you got to figure, you go to get that home mortgage, you know, to mortgage a piece of land or property, and oh, guess what? It's all stable coins. You got to pay it back in stable coins. So you got to go find either your job, or you have to transact some way to get the stable coin before you pay that mortgage down. So there's another hook. You know, they keep hooking you along the way, right? That's the way it always is. It's always incrementally death by 1,000 cuts. It just can work a lot faster. Because look how fast they went. I mean, they went from 1913 to 1933, 20 years in the old days when everything moved slow. And then they had the 20 years to basically the 50s when things ramped up economically, that they had a big boom, and they kind of rode that wave right into 1971, and that's when they hit the wall and had to, you know, decouple from gold. And we've been in this bubble ever since, you know, riding this bubble ever since. And this is the next step. Or I guess we're further along in the steps than we probably perceive too, because at some point in the past 10, 15 years, this has probably been progressed upon. I mean, I think about it when direct deposit became mandatory for a bunch of employers. So this is like early 90s time frame is when all this first started, when you started doing electronic, everything being direct deposit, everything's electronic, ATM cards. That was like the first wave of this, what we're dealing with now. We were just, most of us too young to see it. Hey, ATM's cool. I can go to the bank, I can go to the ATM and get cash. You know, but it seemed cool to us at the time. And Liberty Garden is checked in. What's up, Liberty Garden? Down in Tejas. Liberty Garden hitting the regime pretty hard on all his posts on the YouTube. It's been good stuff. If you want to get some good hate going at the administration and just the big government in general as we currently know it, Liberty Garden's a good place to visit. Yeah, keep the hate flowing. Hate keeps us warm or cool, depending on where you're at. Nichols says they will want us to use government crypto and no cash or gold or silver. Well, it's going to be big bank crypto. I think with this bill, they've kind of shown their hand that it is going to go to the big bank. The big bank is going to be the you know, the all-seeing eye, you know, at the top of the pyramid. It's going to fulfill the vision of J.P. Morgan to rule it all. Got to keep the crooks honest. Yeah, you can't keep crooks honest without, I mean, kind of the only way to do that, Liberty Garden, is to, you know, put them underground. in my mind. It's like the everybody talking about the list, you know, and it's like we want accountability, we want arrests. It's like no, you don't arrest people like that. They have to be removed from society permanently. You don't want to be paying for their country club living for 20, 30 years. You know, they've got to be, you know, got to cut the head off the snake. You cannot live in a society and share something with those people. Um, that's just where we're at. So if we're not in the end times, there's an opportunity here for us to course correct and get back on track. If we are in the end times, there's nothing we can do about it anyway, but we just have to be prepared to do our part in the time and opportunity comes. That's all I can say, is know what the right thing to do is at the right time. You know, Steve, nicotine, caffeine, and hate. What we're living off of. Do you know how to produce nicotine, Steve? I don't even know how to produce caffeine. Like, caffeine can come from what naturally? Does chocolate has natural caffeine, right? Coca. There's not many sources. You know, nicotine's tobacco. I don't know what else contains nicotine. So all us addicted types to coffee, obviously coffee, but I can't grow coffee. Anybody know how to grow a coffee tree, a coffee bush? I'll start growing some coffee beans around here. Then you know you're ready for the apocalypse when you got a coffee, you're growing coffee beans and, you know, tobacco maybe. If you're in the South, tobacco's always seem to be pretty easy, so you can get back on that trick. You'd be a pretty popular person because people are going to want their nicotine, Steve. You can ship all your nicotine out to Steve in California. The crushed bones of the enemy. Liberty says there's no client list because they're all buddies going around the island, right? Like somebody was talking about there is a Epstein had 10 different contact methods for the president, right? You know, call, text, email, different phone numbers, different emails, like 10 different methods. It's like, you might know a guy, right? You think you might know a guy if you can contact him 10 ways. So that's a concern. It's like, yeah, he's been in on it all along. He played good that he was going to crack down on these bad people, but he's just one of those bad people covering up their tracks. So basically, I think what you see here is he's wrapping up the wiping away the blood trail, if you will, or the drag marks. You know, he's wrapping up cleaning up the scene a little bit. What's up, Walter Davis? How's things out there in the East Coast? I was trying to think of what's the last video I saw from Walter? It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a minute, Walter, since I saw... You weren't in the excavator last time I saw either. Last time I saw you, maybe you were driving. YouTube's terrible about the way that it's just hard to keep track of people when they only post one video a week, or such as it is. What you running for? Perimeter security's all hot and bothered. Walter says he thinks it's all crap. The Biden catastrophe handed off all the documents. Oh, so you're saying they do exist, Walter? Because people are saying they don't. Evil people in higher places are saying that they do not exist. To be determined, I guess you'd say. Not for nothing. So things aren't looking good on the honesty, forthright, making America great again agenda. Things are not looking good at all. You're going to end up with digitally controlled money, satanic worship and open forum sacrifice in the White House probably by the time this is all wrapped up. Like, I don't know, how much more of the days of Baal can we get? Baal, I should say. Walter was in a thunderstorm in the last video you saw from Walter? Oh, okay. That's a pretty good one. And Liberty Bleeds is... Oh wait, who was on here? Vegas Stacker was on here. think I was getting Vegas Stacker and Liberty Bleeds mixed up. Vegas Stacker's the guy that worked nights. He's probably going to work about right now. I was thinking Liberty Bleeds is the older guy. That's maybe who I think I was getting confused. And Liberty Bleeds just dropped a video. It looks like my bad, but I know who. Anyway, they're all in Vegas. They're stuck in Vegas. Life is rough. Tariffs only make living more expensive, right? Yep. Money will all go to the government so they can take their cut, so they can avoid inflation. Liberty says assume Trump is on the Louisa Express. Right, just by association, guilt by association, right? Right, just everybody's guilty until proven innocent, right? And Walter said there's no chain of custody, no way to verify. A lot of names were added that were never there, but the threat to the agenda. Yeah, it's all the whole angle that it's a foreign intelligence operation seems to hold a lot of water as a blackmail operation. You know what I'm saying? It seems like that holds a lot of water, that could be a lot of what was going on, or why it was going on, and there's been no repercussions or punishments, and he was a protected asset. Seems to be definitely a lot of it. He definitely wasn't a one-man show with just some lady who just happened to, we're in jail for no reason, which what they said last week at this time, that's what they were insinuating, like, they went to jail and committed suicide for no reason, is what they kind of wanted you to believe last week. What's up, Barry Wood? How's up there, the Great White North? Which it shouldn't be white right now. You should be in summertime like the rest of us, but you're way up north there. I suppose the sun's probably down where you are, pretty near. It's going down here. Epstein went from a flunky to the top in a couple of years, right? Yeah, it's a controlled asset. Barry says it's hot. Yeah, I hear you, Barry. Well, hot for you is like 80 degrees, so it's all relative. You're like those European guys, all those Brits complaining about 76 degrees Fahrenheit. It's like, yeah, go to mid-Alabama about right now and see how hot it is, plus humidity. It might be 80 degrees at nighttime right there, and the humidity. 87 for you, Barry. Is that right? Yeah, you're not much cooler than us. I figured it. Are you on the coast or are you inland a little bit? I can't remember how far. I'd figure the coastal region would be a little cooler, but if you're inland of the mountains, it'd definitely be more like us, huh? Diesel is really up, says Walter. East side, says Barry. Okay, Barry, that makes sense. I guess you would be a little bit warmer. Those coastal regions definitely have the nicer weather all along the Pacific Northwest. But it's been reasonably not too hot, like I was saying earlier. So yeah, we what do we got to do around here? We got to get some operations going. I put out a short yesterday, and I'm gonna do a separate video, but I'll do it in this live stream since I got a few people here. Everybody needs to go out and buy a few pieces of 90% silver, just for the sake of saving American history. You know, you might not want to, put all your investment capital. You don't want to, stack. You don't want to do any of those things. But for the sheer purpose of saving history in the form of 90% coins, I challenge everybody to go buy $1 face value. Any combination you want, at least. If you want to get super motivated or join in the club, because the whole effort to avoid the melt, because what's going on is so many people from 30, 40 years ago are selling back all their 90% silver that coin shops are having to send it off to refineries or dealers to get their money because they can't sell it fast enough to keep capitalized so they can buy and sell, right? So I ask you to go to your LCS, buy a few dollar face value of any combination of 9% coins that you want to choose. If you want to get ambitious and like buy something for each of your grandchildren so that they all have a historical example of each coin, that would be great. But go buy something just for the historical preservation of the whole thing. Put it in the back of your gun safe. Keep it there until the grandkids inherited it, whatever. Just so we have those representations of what real money in America used to be like. If you want to get ambitious and like have one Morgan silver dollar, have a peace dollar, have a Mercury dime, Barber quarter, George Washington quarter in silver, Franklin half dollar, the Kennedy half dollar 50%, 40%, and the Kennedy half dollar 90%. Like all the different historical examples. If you wanted to get ambitious and do that, that'd be awesome. But I just ask you to at least get a dollar face value. So 10 dimes, 2 Franklin half dollars, whatever combination you want, as a part of just preserving, because it's going to go away. It seems like there's a lot out there right now because they are having to ship it off, and it seems like there's a lot. But if you think of, if every American went out and got a dollar face value just to, it would like disappear overnight. You wouldn't be able to find it. So there's not a lot out there for people to use as preserving that history. So please, I challenge you, and I'm going to do a video on that because it's pretty important in the historical aspect, even if you're not into the saving in silver and saving in gold and all the other precious metals and all that stuff. Just the preservation of American history, 9% constitutional silver is very important. Hey, what's up, Rob Painless, my brother, down at the gun shows, doing all the gun show events with the wife, as she puts in the work and he just sits there and videos the whole thing, it seems like. He did where was that last weekend, Rob? You did that video? That was pretty good. Just helping out. Firewood days tomorrow, says Barry. Barry's a silver bug, he says. So Barry's got his, he's covered on his end. Walter says, Steve got a couple hundred in the bank. Oh, goodness. Walter's got gold and silver. Nickel says, Morgan's about to be 100. Well, you don't have to get a high-end Morgan, Nickel. You can still get Morgans for like $38, $35, depending on where you're at. The real low-grade ones. If you want to get some collectibles, obviously that's your own business. And that's preserving history as well. So go get you a nice slabbed MS-65 Morgan dollar, whatever you want to do. That's on you, buddy. Good to see you, Rob. Of course, they wants you to pay more to save the environment. Pay more for gas, right? Well, Nickel, and that goes to preserving history. People have a perception that 3 9s fine silver is the only thing that really means anything, when 90% silver was the standard. Sterling silver is right in the middle there, in between. It's like there's different examples of what. What's all that cackling about? What are you doing over there? Inmates running the prison, I tell you what. No, that'd be the... I don't think so. Walter is doing his part. All right. So yeah, that's the challenge on the silver side. Just go get you some silver dimes and quarters and put it in the back of your safe. Hand it down. Put "do not sell ever" on it. Historical money or something. I don't know. Collectible keepsakes. Family treasure. Ultimately. I don't know why Steve is harassing Walter to do more. Why would you be so mean, Steve? This ain't your stream. Steve likes to keep his persona on his stream like he's a tough guy. Well, don't give your Nickel, don't give your silver to your nieces at least. You know, if they're gonna sell it, that's the last people you want to give that to. You don't want to sell it down the river for a buck, you know. Only trade it for more valuable property or whatever. Rob says he just sits in the hotel and protects stuff. Try to catch us on paperwork. So Rob's just doing his part and supporting the Happy Hair train. And Steve's improving his social credit score by harassing us. Got a sailboat and can't be more green than that, says Walter. That's pretty green. Using the wind. What was it? There was somebody floated the idea of it was had to do with cargo shipping, and they were talking about how we should be using wind power to take cargo ships across the ocean. And the amount of just the reaction on social media of like, are you people do not realize where we're at? Like, yes, this has been done in the past. There's a reason we don't use wind sails anymore. Oh man. Steve's as good as his job. Yes, indeed. He's got it going on as far as doing his part for rowing. Steve's a good captain, but he can also row when he needs to. So is everybody's garden coming along? Everybody's got a garden, right? I guess if you don't have a garden, it's a little late. So hopefully everybody's got growing something. The squash have been doing really good. When was the last time I did a garden video? A week and a half ago, maybe? Finally got a watermelon developing, so that's a good thing. Watermelon coming along. I talked about turnips earlier. I need to replant some radishes to get another run of radish going before the end of the season. Corn is looking really strong. And what else? Peppers are starting to develop. Peppers actually might do something. The tomatoes are starting to develop. Potato flowers are coming on the potatoes. What are you panting so heavily for? You all right? Running around like a wild child? Not you. And so tomatoes, cucumbers might grow. Cucumbers are trying to grow. Go. They run around chasing something, and they come back here like they want attention. What else is in the garden? So I replanted turnips. There was something else I planted. I planted something else recently. I'll walk through it when I do the video, and I'll remind it. I'll remember then. But the watermelon's definitely, I've got a small watermelon. So hopefully here mid-August might actually get a watermelon if things grow right. Nickel sees corn with his neighbor. All right. Corsair's eating grapes. You're gonna make some wine, aren't you, Corsair? That's what you're gonna do. I talked about at the beginning making sauerkraut, so that's the project of. We had those 2 heads of cabbage, so I'm gonna try to make some sauerkraut and see how that goes. So, talk to me about 3 weeks. We'll see what we got going on. Onions. Yeah, I didn't plant onions specific. I got onions that are perennial in the garden. Haven't figured out what I'm gonna do with my onions. Radishes, yeah, radishes, yep. Like Rob says, sort of a garden. Some onions and just planted some squashes. You're just now planting squash and you're gonna get something out of it? I can't imagine planting in mid-July and never having anything around here. Cantaloupes too, yeah. I planted 4 cantaloupe and none of them came up. So I think it was, I guess it was the seeds, the only thing I can figure. What are you guys all alerting for? Maybe there is a coyote out there. They got it unlocked though, if it is. Yeah, you can plant squash though and you can still get fruit in October. That seems like an awfully short turnaround. But I mean, you're definitely hotter than me, so, and you're gonna have more sun. You get longer days still. You're still probably an hour longer in a day cycle over the next 2 months. So, and I got a big pumpkin plant growing. We got the winter squash plant coming in, but only the one big giant pumpkin plant. So the one giant pumpkin. We're all excited. What do you guys hear? It is about that time for the coyotes to kind of wander by. If they wanted to cause any trouble. Pumpkin pie is indeed great. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I wish I could find a way to make like watermelon pie or something. A way to preserve watermelon is definitely an objective. If anybody knows how to preserve watermelon, hit me up. Crazy dogs. Pumpkin soup, yeah. That's a good point, Rob. Yeah, pumpkin soup. Squash, I mean basically squash soup. You can use any squash for that. Watermelon food dehydrator. I don't see how that works, Nickel. I don't see how that's a real thing. Dehydrating watermelon, what's the point? Make it make sense. Or maybe do a demonstration video for me, Nickel, and I'll see if I want to do that or not. You know? Really? Like jerky? We'll see. Or maybe I don't see how that works. I mean, how long would it take you to, what do you do? Like, you like press all the water out before you can put it on the dehydrator just so it's, because you flood your dehydrator if you just put big chunks on there. So you like strip it, press it. I don't know. I don't get it. It's beyond my expertise level. Pickling watermelon. Pickling the rind. Oh, what do you do with pickled rind? Is it good? A pickled watermelon rind is good? Does it end up like sauerkraut? Interesting. Yeah, the rind's pretty flavorless. Not sure if I like that approach. Again, please do a demonstration. See if I want to go that route. I guess I could probably Google it, right? Pickling watermelon. Yeah. Well, we'll see. If the juice is worth the squeeze. Yeah, so that's kind of what I've been looking at and doing. The economic situation is the real issue that everybody's ignoring to their own dismay, and relying on this transition to stable coin crypto future is not going to be beneficial for any of us. You know, so stay frosty out there. We'll wrap it up. We've been here 40 minutes plus. Thanks everybody for checking in. Nickel Stacking, Rob Painless, Corsair Trainer, Steve, Vegas Stacker was in the house earlier. Walter, Barry Wood. Who else commented? C103 out there hanging with us. Who'd I miss? I missed somebody. I always do miss somebody. Rob Painless, C103, yada, yada, yada. Maybe not. Maybe I got a Liberty Garden. Liberty Garden was also here. See, there he is. Good night. Yeah. So good to see y'all. It's already dark where you are, Liberty Garden. So, well, I guess we'll see you through the weekend, wherever you're doing on your channel, on the YouTube or elsewhere. And definitely stay frosty. Go get you a dollar face value of 9% silver at your local coin store. Or order you a roll off of one of the vendor sites if you're so money bags and inclined to do so. Just do your part to preserve history. And have a good weekend. We will see you later, YouTube. Prep hard, pray hard, because those that need it most out there are the ones most in need. But prep hard, live free. See if I can shut this thing down. I always mess up where to shut this thing down at.